you see this box? It used to hold my life in it. Gold bracelets, a ruby ring, my wedding necklace, every piece a memory of love, of time, of family. Now, it's empty. They took it all. But what they didn't know was that I still had something they could never take, my mind. They thought I was old. They thought I'd forget. But I didn't. And when they came back for more, I was waiting. A pause, soft piano fades in. They stole my jewelry. But I took their freedom. My name is Evelyn. I'm 74 years old. I've lived in this little house for more than 4 decades, raised 2 kids, loved one husband until his very last breath, and filled every room with laughter once upon a time. My jewelry, it wasn't about money. No, no. Each piece was a story. This bracelet, my mother's, handed down to me on my wedding day. This ring, my late husband's first gift after our first argument. He said it would remind me that love is worth more than pride. Every little sparkle held a piece of my heart. After my husband passed, my grandchildren became my light. Ryan and Lily. Oh, they were everything to me. They used to run through this house as children, Ryan with his toy car, Lily with her dolls. And when they grew older, they still visited. Or, at least they used to. But recently, something changed. Their visits became more frequent. Their smiles, a little too polite. And their eyes. They weren't looking at me anymore. They were looking around me. At my things. My shelves. My jewelry box. I felt it. But I didn't want to believe it. Because sometimes, love makes you blind. It was a Sunday afternoon. They came over, all smiles and hugs. Ryan said, "Grandma, let's clean the attic for you, you shouldn't climb ladders at your age." And Lily said, "We'll make dinner too, Grandma. You just rest." I was touched. Maybe too touched. We cooked together. Laughed. They told me about their jobs, their plans. And for a moment, I felt happy again. Later that evening, after they left, I went upstairs. I wanted to put my jewelry away. But when I opened the box, empty. Everything, gone. I remember my hands trembling, my breath catching in my throat. I tore through my drawers, my closet, nothing. And then I felt it, that cold, sinking feeling that only betrayal brings. The next day, I called them. Ryan chuckled. "Grandma, you probably misplaced it." Lily said, "You've been a little forgetful lately, haven't you?" They made me question myself. They made me doubt my own memory. And that was the cruelest part. I hung up the phone and sat in silence for hours. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stared at that empty box, and thought. If they can play games with me, maybe I can play one back. You know, they say people my age can't handle technology. Maybe that's what they thought too. But lonely nights can teach you a lot. I started watching tutorials on my old tablet, how to set up hidden cameras, how to protect your home. It took me weeks. But I learned. I saved every bit of my pension for 2 months and bought 3 small cameras online. One went inside the old wall clock. One behind the bookshelf in the living room. And one, hidden on the top shelf in my bedroom. Then, I set my trap. I placed a few fake gold bangles, cheap metal, painted to shine, right in the jewelry box. I left the box half open, right where they'd seen it before. And then, I waited. A week later, they called. "Grandma, we're coming over." I smiled through the phone and said, "Of course, my loves. I'll make your favorite pie." When they arrived, their charm could have fooled anyone. Ryan kissed my hand. Lily helped with the dishes. But I noticed the way they glanced at each other when I left the room. So I pretended. Pretended I was tired, forgetful, naive. Pretended I didn't notice when they slipped upstairs. They thought they were clever. But this time I was watching. Hours later, they left, happy, satisfied. I locked the door, sat down, and opened my tablet. I pressed play. There they were. My grandchildren. Ryan standing guard near the door. Lily opening the jewelry box, laughing as she stuffed the fake bangles into her bag. "Grandma won't even notice," she said. And Ryan laughed. "She's too old to remember." I remember whispering to myself. Too old to remember, but not too old to see. The next morning, I called the police. When they saw the footage, they asked if I was sure. And I said, "I've never been more sure in my life." They told me they'd handle it discreetly. So, the next time Ryan and Lily visited, 2 officers waited quietly outside. When my grandchildren stepped in, the officers followed. Ryan froze. Lily started crying. "Grandma, please, it's not what it looks like." And I said, "Oh, it looks exactly like what it is." When they put the cuffs on, Ryan looked at me and said, "Grandma, we're family." And I replied, "Family doesn't steal from the hands that fed them." That day, my house became quiet again. Empty, but peaceful. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like justice. They took my jewelry. But they gave me something else. The truth. And once you have that, you don't need gold to shine. You know, if you've ever trusted someone who broke that trust, you'll understand my pain. I'm not telling this story for revenge. I'm telling it so you remember, no matter your age, your silence, or your size, you are never powerless. If you believe that truth always finds its way, then don't just scroll past. Like this video if my story touched your heart. Share it, maybe it'll give someone else the courage to stand up for themselves. And if you want to hear more true stories like mine, subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell, so you never miss what comes next. Because sometimes, one story can remind someone that it's never too late to take their life back. I still keep that empty jewelry box. It sits right there, on my dresser. Not as a reminder of what I lost, but of what I found. My strength. My voice. My peace. Ryan and Lily wrote me letters from prison. They said they were sorry. I read them all. And then I put them away. I haven't forgiven them yet. But maybe, someday, I will. Because forgiveness takes time. And time, I still have a little left. They stole my jewelry. But I took their freedom. And in doing so, I found mine. People say old age makes you weak. But sometimes, it just makes you patient enough to let the truth catch up.